You know how sometimes doing what you love is harder on one day than it is on the other days? Well, today is one of those days for me. I really wanted to just talk to you in this episode about this amazing movie called Good Sam. But when I was in the train getting back to my home today, I was listening to this interview um, with the starter of this amazing organization, OUR Rescue, where they save kids, children from child sex traffic. And it's just horrible. Like, the stories, I mean, it's so important that they tell them and that he shares them and that we learn and we know. And I am educating myself on this now. Like, I need to learn more. I want to learn more. But it is so horrible and just heartbreaking. I was in the train and I couldn't, it kind of just like fell over me. So when I was watching Good Sam, I was enjoying the movie and I really liked the movie, but at the same time I couldn't completely be in the movie because it was still in the back of my head. So I wanted to share that because I've tried to start this episode for a couple of times now and it hasn't come out as happy as I wanted it to. And then I realized, like, hey, it's okay to not be as happy every day as you want to be. That's fine. That's life. That's how it goes. So I did want to talk about this movie though, because this movie had some things that were so I love movies. I love them. And I love them even more when they have messages in them. And this movie had some messages in them. And I love how it wasn't logical all the time. Like, I disagreed with Kate when it came to believing in miracles, when it came to believing in somebody can do something good for somebody else with expecting nothing in return. But at the same time, I got her perspective. Like, I got it. It made sense, her point of view. And I don't know where it exactly came from. This I'm still wondering about. Maybe I missed it, but every time she said, like, nobody ever does something good without expecting something in return, I was like, well, that means that your heart has been broken by somebody who did exactly that. Or you've been hurt by somebody who did exactly that. I just haven't figured out yet what it was. So I might have to go through the movie again, or through the beginning, just to figure out where that came from. But at the same time, her skepticism was good, because it does make her a wonderful reporter, as long as she stays objective, because she looked at it from a negative point of view, not an objective point of view, which also made her not believe. But at the same time, that skepticism helped her make sure that she found out that Jake was lying. He was using her. And it made me so upset that he was using her for something like that. I was like, oh my goodness, if somebody does a good deed and expects nothing in return, how dare you just kind of, take over? And then do that more? Like, you just throw money at it and you become great? Like, what is that? I oh my goodness, when he was like, well, I put in the money too. I can put more money in. What will make you happy? And I was listening. I was like, oh my goodness, you idiot. Money won't make anybody love you more. Money won't make anybody won't make her happy with you. Live happily ever after. Have a great relationship. Money is not the point. It will never be the point. Because money is not the reason you like somebody. Money, or it shouldn't be, I believe. Money is not the reason you fall in love. What? No. What is that? Money makes life easy. And I get that not having money makes life really hard. I know. I get that. But money, just money, is not enough. And I hope that when you're listening to this, you agree with me. Because your relationship shouldn't be based on money. Your relationship should be based on trust, on respect, on love, on friendship, on kindness, on generosity, on taking care of each other, on talking with each other for hours about all the random topics, but then also diving in really deep, and then just kind of servicing, floating through funny topics, crying, laughing, having like a belly hurting laugh, being super serious, arguing, discussing, but also listening to each other, putting the time in. It's not about the money. Which is what I love that about Eric. Eric is like, hey, I I save people for a living, which is amazing. I am so impressed by this man who is just like, I'm a firefighter. I'm a professional firefighter. I am so impressed by that. Like, there are, of course, professional firefighters and volunteer firefighters. And both are absolutely amazing because they do the same thing. They risk their lives to save somebody else. I mean, isn't that just amazing? It's about saving this one person, and they are like, hey, I really, really, really like my life. I really want to get out of here alive. I really want to be happy, but I'm gonna put my life on the line to take care of this person because this person is worth it, because I'm gonna try and help out this person. And that's basically what he does, right? And then when he takes her on a date, he cooks for her, or at the end of the movie when they have a picnic in the park, it's not because of the money that she goes on a date with him. It's little things. She brings him coffee, they go for a walk. It's little things, because money is not the point of the date. It's not, hey, I'm gonna impress you in a fancy restaurant. No, anybody can impress another person if you have enough money to pay for an expensive restaurant. But if you can impress another person because you can cook and you cook for them, you put in the time and the effort to make a good meal. And if that means that you can actually cook, that is an amazing skill to show off. I recommend doing that 100%. But it's not about making caviar or something fancy. It's about making something good and showing the other person that you put in the time and effort to do that for them. It's not about the money. It is about the effort. It is about the effort every single time. And it is so important. And I don't know. I mean, Jack missed that. He missed that point of taking somebody on a date is putting in the time and the effort of, you dress up and you get ready and you have a great conversation, or you have an awkward conversation, or anything in between. That's totally fine. And then as you go through the process of that, it just it's just so funny to me, how people forget what makes a date a good date. A date is not a good date because you had super expensive food. Super expensive food can taste disgusting. And super expensive restaurants can just not fill you up at all. When they're really fancy and they have this little piece of food in the middle of this massive plate and you're like, this is it? Like, guys, I'm hungry. Get me some proper food. You don't need to go to the most expensive restaurant for a good date. That's not the point. Which is why I liked the nacho part with Jake. But then it turned out that he had sent out a press release that he was going to be there. So he was drawing attention to himself. And from the get, I was like, I don't believe you. But then when he did that, I was like, are you kidding me? You sent out a press release. Good Sam was hiding for the first 4. And now you magically come out. Like, you magically appear after the 8th bag is found. You just kind of appear. And then you send out your own press release. What the heck is that? What is that? That is so stupid. So yeah, I didn't like that. But I do like Kate, how she was like, I don't do political reporting because I value honesty more. And I get that. And then she also kept digging because something was off. And oh my goodness, when Jake had that speech on uh the working people and blah blah blah, and he just literally said the same thing twice. I was like, oh my goodness, you're such a just like so not honest or not true to what you're saying or doing. It's just something is so off about you that you can just feel it when you're around this guy. And I'm so happy she could see it and feel it too, and she just heard it. She was like, wait, what? That's not, no. And I was like, yes, exactly, no. Ugh, yeah. And so I get that the first idea she had by Who Could Be It was that it was a marketing strategy. Because, well, I mean, in the end, the first fake one did it as a marketing strategy for himself. The second fake one did it as a marketing strategy for his Congress campaign, which was just ridiculous. Like, how do you become a household name? Put some money in, lie. You didn't start the initiative. Here's the thing. You're not Good Sam. You just build on top of his publicity. But he wasn't Good Sam because he didn't start it. So, you're not Good Sam. If you're gonna lie, like, no. Of course, you could give money. You can put money in. I mean, everybody can put money in something like that and make himself so famous and everything. And that's, not okay. Because he was messing up the whole point. Good Sam was not supposed to be this person called Sam. It's a good Samaritan. Somebody who does good to a stranger, not expecting anything in return. That's the point of a good Samaritan. And then I didn't like it. It frustrated me so much that I was like, really? Are you serious right now? But yeah, he was serious about that, sadly. So the first four people who got it were just, and also the girl who sent in a message for her mom to ask for Good Sam for money for her mom. What you saw with all these people was that they used the money to help out somebody else. They helped themselves because they needed the money for a certain thing. And then they helped somebody else with the rest of the money or with all the money. The rich oncologist, the rich cancer researcher, she said, I don't need the money, so I'm going to put it into cancer research. She had the money. She already had enough money, so she was like, you know what? There's this field that needs more money. And because of Good Sam too, she got more publicity, so they got more sponsors, they got more money. The girl asked for money for her mom for the treatment, and that gave them hope. She asked for the money, not for herself, for her mom. The woman who was had to leave her own house bought a car for her neighbor, not for herself, for her neighbor, because her neighbor had to take 3 buses to work every day. That is what it means, that when somebody does a good deed, it rubs off on other people. It's this whole dopamine thing, right? When you see somebody, when you do something good for somebody, it feels good. When somebody does something good for somebody else, it feels good. When you see somebody do something good for somebody else, it feels good and it makes you want to be good. So when you see good, you want to do more good. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that such a wonderful trait that we humans have? I love it personally. I'm so excited about it, because it means that if you spread positivity, if you spread optimism and happiness and good news, like look at the news. Look at how much negative news, how much pessimism and just horrible things there are in the news. And then a whole lot of things that just don't matter that much. I mean, there are a lot of horrible things, but some things are not that important and still negative. But then there are all these amazing positive things and these wonderful things that happen, and they barely get any coverage. I personally, I hated that. So I stopped watching the news. And I only follow it these days on Instagram, where I also looked up Instagram accounts where they only share positive news. So my news feed is now 60% positive news and objective news is the rest of it. So it's like 20%, 30% objective news. And then there's quotes, and I'm fascinated by people who do these conspiracy theories. So I just keep that because I want to know what people who don't think like me think. Like, I'm an optimistic person, I'm a positive person. I like looking at the future and being optimistic that we can go further and better, and we can do better, we can go further, we can have a better society. And then there are these people who are like, this person is plotting against this person is plotting against us all, they want to put chips in us. And I'm like, why do you think that, right? That's the whole thing, right? Why do you think that? Because it comes from somewhere. Somebody put this idea in your head. Well, is this idea complete nonsense, or is there some truth to it? Where do all these science fiction movies come from? Where do all these young adults stories come from? They come from something. We have a wonderful imagination, but in the end it's all based on some little thing. Anyway, I'm getting very off topic here. So let me see. What is something else I really wanted to say? I love how the woman who bought the car, I don't remember her name, how she said miracles spread. Like, giving inspires giving, and miracles spread. And I was like, yes, because generosity is contagious. And that's just a message that I think we should drive home more. If you're a good person and you do good, good will come to you. And it might not be immediate, and it might suck still in your life. But doing good is always the right thing. Do you know Gary Vaynerchuk? He always says this. Doing good is always the right strategy, and I firmly believe that too. So, something different. The movie was shot in New York City, and I went to New York City for a week, and I walked around there. And now every time I see a movie shot in New York City, I just look at it and I'm like, oh, I was there, I walked there, I saw this, I saw that, and it just it makes me so happy, It makes me laugh so much as well. I'm like, I saw that, I was there, I did, yeah. I have a picture on that spot, which is exactly what I thought. So Kate, at some point, turned, right? I mean, throughout the movie, you slowly see her turn from this negative perspective on Good Sam to this perspective like, hey, I can believe in this. And then there is the big challenge to it, right? Like, okay, if this person is not who he says he is, and this person did prove your statement from the beginning of the movie, right? Like, hey, people don't just do good because they want to do good, they want something out of it. Well, Jack showed that. And still, at that point, she was so far that she still believed that doing good with no expectation of anything in return was what some people did. She believed that, and that's how she figured out that Eric was the guy who did it. Because she, at that point, had turned to this optimistic view, this positive view of people in society. Because she also said, right, she said, we broadcast the drama, the problems, the explosions, everything that's bad, but actually people do more good than bad. And it's very important to remember, people do more good than bad. Don't forget that. It's important to remember. So a little thing though, when she went to the house of the congressman and she was wearing this gorgeous, I mean, it just looked gorgeous on her, yellow dress with the white on the bottom. It looked so good. Oh my goodness. I would never ever dare to wear something like that because I don't think it would look good on me, but on her, oh my goodness, it looked gorgeous. It was amazing. So yeah. What else do I want to say? Jack, in the end, frames it in a way as if he's doing her a favor by coming out, giving her wonderful publicity, a great story, and giving publicity to himself, his name, his image, so that he can run for Congress. And at that point, she was like I said, she was like, no, no. People can do good with no expectation on a return on that good, and that is something I hope we can put forward. Like, hey, you don't need to expect a return on being a decent person, because being a decent person is the ground on which you build everything else in your life. You've got to be a good person and a decent person, and then everything else will come around. Because here's the thing, being a good person is always the right decision, because it will pay off in your life. You will feel better about yourself, you will have a happier life, you will have a good life, because karma is a thing. Like, doing good in the end gives you positive returns. There are positive returns of being a good person. Don't forget that. Don't think that just because somebody did something nasty or bad to you, you should do that to somebody else. Don't step into the negative spiral of hurting or of getting hurt and then hurting somebody else because of it. Because if somebody hurt you, you will learn from that. You will understand what this person did, and you can say, okay, this person did this to me. I don't ever want to feel this way again, and I don't ever want anybody else to feel this way just because I did. And if we come from that place, we just want to do more good. We just want to be a kinder person, a better person. And maybe the people around you who are not a great, kind person are not the right people for you. Maybe you need to level up, strive to be a better person, and move to other people around you. Surround yourself with different people. And it does sound really cringy sometimes, but you know how you're the average of the 5 people you listen to most? Well, if you can't find the positive people right around you, how about you listen to some positive people on the internet or on YouTube, like Gary Vaynerchuk? And then I listened to him. I started listening to him 3 months ago. And that positivity and that optimism, it got in my head. And if you need any more examples, I'll have a ton for you. But that positivity and optimism for life, it got in my head. And it made me stronger. And now I am, my opinion matters now most. My optimism, my positive view on the world, on people, my happy perspective on life, it matters more now than anybody else's opinion on my life or on me. I listen to their opinions, I do, because feedback is important to hear, of course. But it doesn't weigh as heavy as mine. And I think that is important to remember. Don't let anybody else's opinion weigh as heavy as your own. Because it's your life. You only get one, as far as we know. Or as far as I know, at least. And you don't want to have any regrets. And regrets go two ways, by the way. Regrets go, you can regret doing something, and you can regret not doing something. It can go both ways. So sometimes doing something is also the wrong decision. Just like not doing something can be the wrong decision. But you gotta trust your gut. And there was this wonderful lyrics I heard today from this song. I don't remember what it was. It said, if I have to question my gut, if I have to think about my gut decision twice, it wasn't my decision. And I was like, yes, exactly. If I have to think about it twice, it's not my choice. It's somebody else putting their opinion into my head and me letting them. And we shouldn't let them. We can give them some space to voice their opinion, but in the end it's still our life, and we gotta make the decisions that are right for us. So finally, I'll close off with this. I loved how in the end Eric let her chase the story of the coin, and how he is gonna take her sailing. She made him trust that, life should be fun and you should enjoy the things you love, and that sailing doesn't mean that he's doing something wrong or that something will go wrong again, but that he should just be doing something he loves, because that's what you should do in life. You should do the things you love. That's why I'm doing this, because I have no experience doing this, but it's been fun so far, so I'm gonna keep it up. So yeah, with that was my review on Good Sam. I hope you have a wonderful day.